Roger Goodell, the NBA, the NFL, everybody's all eaten up with diversity cards. Hey, some brother professor says you get a D in diversity. Man, people lose their mind, and I'm frankly tired of it. I'm sorry. I am tired of it. I think you are too. Black, white. I got more of my black friends saying, man, I'm so tired. How about we just hire us if we're good enough? How about we just hire you if you're good enough? People are getting tired of hearing them having diversity and change. What change exactly do you want? I want more African Americans on the sideline. You can't. It's impossible. There's already 99%. Roger Goodell's happy with it. I personally don't care. I don't care who's on the sideline. The only thing I care about the sideline is the body language of the players. I love when we get to idiot wide receiver throwing his helmet. I think that's fun. I think that's great. I think that's interesting. But Roger Goodell is so full of crap, and I don't blame him. Look, Roger Goodell is this. He's a shield. On this side, problems. On this side, owners. Goodell, you are our wall. You are the White Walker. You keep the White Walkers out. You get on that wall, Roger Goodell. Roger Goodell got on that wall yesterday. He used his entire press conference embracing progress. Progress to what? What is progress? Until there are no more white people in this world, including Goodell? It'd be interesting if a diversity card came out and they took it serious. You know what? You got to strip Roger Goodell of all his powers. You got to strip Roger Goodell of all his money because he's a white guy. We need diversity in the commissioner's office. Get rid of Goodell. I guarantee you, and if they cleaned out his bank account 2 minutes later, Roger Goodell would be saying, screw this diversity, I want my job back. Wonder how many white dudes have lost their jobs unfairly in the name of diversity. I wonder how many people that have worked their ass off lost their jobs in the name of diversity. I saw mine coming at ESPN when Scott Johnson, the best director, and I got bumped off the ACC tournament for diversity. I wonder how many, is that progress? Is it really progress to take somebody that's been incredibly loyal to a company like the NFL over years, or as an official that's done a great job over the years, and get rid of him or her because of diversity? Is that progress? Is that the progress you want? If it is, you're getting it. Roger Goodell defended everything. But I just want you to think about that for a second. Everybody talks about progress. Is that real progress? Hey, man, you're black. I'm going to put you in this guy's position, even though for 25 years this guy's been loyal and he's still really good. But he's white, middle-aged, get rid of him. Is that progress? Okay. If it is, it is, and good for you, Roger Goodell. See, nobody really cares about progress. What they care about is scorecard. What does the racial scorecard? There was a activist named Edwards. Oh, man, he was a professor at Cal Berkeley. Beard. And if he said something about you good as a white dude, oh, my God, you'd brag about it. Bobby and I bragged about this guy Edwards forever. If he said something bad about you, oh, my God, they're coming for you. So progress is get rid of Whitey. Let's just call it what it is. And Roger Goodell celebrates it. All right. Okay. Here is a little, we're not satisfied with the progress. Hell no. Hell no, because you still got white faces in the offices and on the sideline. Let's hear from Goodell how we're not satisfied.
We are not satisfied where we are. We think that diversity is very good for us as a league. It's made us better. It gives opportunities to talented people. I think the hiring cycle was obviously encouraging from the head coaching standpoint. As you point out, we don't look at this just in the coaching level or offensive coordinators. We look at this across the board. We look at this from coaching to ownership to presidents to general managers, and we've seen extraordinary progress in all of that.
How about the commissioner's office? I get it. He's been there long enough. I mean, he doesn't believe a word he's saying, by the way. I'm just telling you. He don't believe a word he's saying. He's good at spinning it. And again, here's the owners. Here's Goodell. Goodell's the wall. Problems, wall, Goodell. He doesn't. He's told what to say, and he knows what to say. He's making $40 million a year. He's a smart man. So progress is getting rid of white officials because they're white. That's progress. Hey, I ain't mad at you, but that's what's happening. Progress is getting rid of white coaches, can't hire white coaches because they're white. Not because they're not as good, they're better in a lot of cases. But hey, that ain't progress because that guy makes $44 million a year. Racial problems, Goodell, owners, block, put on the J pads back in the 70s and block. That's a fact. Here's Roger Goodell about professional sports.
In professional sports and all sports, officiating is part of that. I think in the NFL, the level of scrutiny is at the highest I've ever seen it. And that's part of our popularity. I understand that. It's part of the technology. You all do such a great job that you see more than you could ever see in officiating. The game is faster. I think our officials do a great job. They are superior. But at the end of the day, no one's perfect, whether it's all of us that watches the games or play the games or coach the games or the officials. We have to continue to try to get better. We have to use technology where we can to try to improve their performance, let them use technology to make sure they get the right answer. But I think they do an incredible job.
What's he going to say? Like, this is not progress. What he has done with the officials is not progress. It's actually a world gone backwards. He got rid of, and everybody knows this is not a secret. Everybody knows this. Roger Goodell got rid of experienced, older, white officials. Brought in women, brought in younger guys, fast-tracked people, and the officiating stinks. I mean, you got that fat-ass woman running down the sideline. It can barely get there. Let's just be honest. And I'm sure she grades out well because what are you going to do? You tell me when you make a plan and you say, we are going to get rid of guys like Mark Bolts and others, longtime NFL officials that are still really good, no, very good, that have been mentoring some others, and we're going to fast-track diversity, women, African-American, whatever, younger. I don't care. You can't tell me that the league's getting better. The league is getting worse. And again, this is no secret. Everybody knows they're doing it. Maybe I'm the only one with the cojones to talk about it. But we all know this. So I guarantee you this. They will use, well, you know, our diversity hires rate out at a 99. Well, what do you think? What do you think? Hey, man, give that girl a. I always go back to John Adams, the head of officiating for NCAA basketball, the late John Adams, who, as I'm walking into lunch with him, goes, hey, Dan, as he's making assignments for the NCAA tournament, you know any good African-American officials on the West Coast? I'm like, why? He says, hey, you know what? I got to have one for the tournament. I said, why don't you just hire the best official? Can't do that. So I'm not making stuff up, and the officiating in the NFL stinks. Goodell knows it stinks. I know it stinks. You know it stinks. We all know it stinks. It's terrible. And all you got to do is watch who the officials, they don't even know they're looking at each other. Now, replay has caused them to stink because replay sucks. Replay puts doubt in the mind of officials. And again, this isn't any secret. I've talked to officials about it. Whether it's college basketball, college football, NFL. I've talked to officials about this, and everybody agrees the same thing. So don't talk. We understand. Hey, man, who you rating there? Rating Sally. Do her right. That's what's happening. Everybody knows that's what's happening when you're talking about evaluating officials. Again, this isn't a secret. Everybody knows. Come on. All right? Streaming. Goodell, no regular TV for a playoff game. I ain't mad at it because I get all the streaming service, but here's Goodell.
Consumers are moving off of paid television services and going into digital streaming services and platforms. And we as the NFL have to be able to reach our fans there. One of the most positive things about the Peacock game was not just the fact that it outdrew the broadcast audience a year earlier in the same window. So people went there, experienced it. It worked technically in an incredible way, and our partners at Peacock and NBC, we give a lot of credit to them for that. But it also reduced our average age of the audience by almost 10 years. So youth audiences are going to those platforms and those apps, and we have to make sure our content is there.
Yeah, he's right. No, he's right about that. He's absolutely right. You have to be on streaming. You have to move it along. And understand this, John Skipper ain't wrong. It's going to be sooner than later. And I don't know what sooner than later means, but it's coming. Pay-per-view Super Bowl is coming. It is. Like maybe 10 years, I don't know. But the NFL is smart. About 10 years ago, I said the NFL was going away unless they fix their CTE problem. People made fun of me. Of course they did. But I think about these things. I study, I learn, I look. Guess what the NFL did? They fixed their CTE problem. Guess what happened? The NFL saved itself. It did. You weren't going to have an NFL if you continued down the line that they were going, and Goodell was smart enough to understand. Now, Goodell back in the day, now he's got some S to him. He's got some stuff to him. He used to date Katharina Witt. Remember her, the East German heartthrob figure skater? He got some sack to him now. So, long story short, Roger Goodell, the wall. Problems, the wall. Owners. Goodell would rather have a good diversity scorecard than a good Super Bowl every day of the week. Because the Super Bowl, he can't control. Diversity, he can't. And until he gets everybody, including himself, out, hey, in the name of diversity, Roger Goodell, why don't you drop out? Why don't you step aside? You know who would be the commissioner? You know who would be the commissioner. Condoleezza Rice. Condoleezza Rice, a woman that screws up everything. She was on the board for NCAA basketball and did absolutely nothing. She was in the AT&T Pro-Am the other day. Condoleezza Rice is America's diversity hire. Make Condoleezza Rice the commissioner of the NFL, Raj. Give up your $45 million salary in the name of diversity, progress, inspire change, be love. Be love. We told you this last week. Be careful throwing dirt on Bill Belichick not getting a job. Be careful. Y'all are full of crap. I told you last week, there's more to the story. You just don't hire Raheem Morris over Bill Belichick. Stop it. I don't care if Raheem Morris came out like a combination of Robert Redford in his prime, Denzel Washington in his prime, Barack Obama and George W. Bush all in their prime in an interview. I don't care. You see what I did there? I went black and white so nobody would get mad, right? You got to do that. Anytime you are overly critical, you got to add a white guy. Anytime you're overly, critical of African American, you got to include. You got to see what I did there is pretty good. But anyway, don't give me this crap that Bill Belichick didn't get a job. I told you the other day, there's always a backstory. There's always more to the story. Apparently, Belichick interviewed, and I also told you that my friend Rick Venturi, who worked with him, said, hey, look, Belichick's a lot. He wants total control, and if he doesn't get it, he ain't taking a job. Now it's come out, ladies and gentlemen, that Belichick turned down the Atlanta Falcons. Belichick interviewed to be head coach of the Falcons twice, proving both Belichick and the Falcons were interested in making the deal happen. But the Falcons hired Los Angeles Rams defensive coordinator Raheem Morris, and Gronkowski thinks it had everything to do with power. He's right. He's absolutely right. Here you go. Here's Gronkowski. I think that would have been the best landing destination. I feel like what happened is that I don't think the Falcons organization wanted to give up that much power and give all the decisions to Coach Belichick. Other than that, I think Belichick would have been a perfect fit. Now, I'm going to get into another quote by Gronk here in a minute. But here's the deal. We told you this last week. Look, Belichick isn't going anywhere where he's going to end up 14-24 after a few years. And in his mind, and I know this is from people to work with, and I'll have Rick Venturi on my 1430 show this afternoon, and we'll talk about it. But in his mind, Belichick's mind, I got to have the ability to do everything. Everything. Why would I trust personnel decisions to Slappy Johnny over here with his little PhD from Stanford who looks like Mike McDonald, never played, never coached? I'm not saying he shouldn't. I'm saying that's the old school mentality. So you're telling me with my 10 Super Bowl appearances, 6 championships, that I'm supposed to listen to Fast Eddie and his brother Joey Bag of Donuts over here in the accounting department tell me who I can get and who I can't get? Hey, I'm fine. You know what I'm saying? There's not a chance in holy hell he's doing that. Hell, he should. Of course he should. If he had brains in his head, he would. If he understood that he was bad at personnel with the New England Patriots, he would. If he understood that he was a train wreck in terms of drafting, he would. If he understood that Tom Brady covered for his ass for many years, he would. Just like Peyton Manning covered for the ass of the Indianapolis Colts. All these guys that are up for the Hall of Fame and the Colts couldn't play dead, but Peyton put it right there. Yeah, I'm looking at you, Reggie Wayne. Anyway, now we move forward, and here's Gronkowski. I think it happened for a reason. I think Belichick should take a year off from coaching. He put his time in. He's been coaching 50 years plus straight in the NFL. Take a year off. Reinvent himself. Find himself. That's a young person's thing, isn't it? I'm going to go find myself. Really? All right. Go enjoy something other than just football. I think it would be great for him. And then have him come back next year, resurrected, ready to go, put on display on whatever he lands a head coaching job next year. I ask a simple question because I'm a simple man. I wish I could have somebody else with me because I have a legit question. What does finding yourself mean? What does it mean? Does it mean going out into the woods? Oh, I'm supposed to be a Sherpa. Oh, I found my real inner being. I wish I knew. Maybe I need to do so. I used to go to Pilates and I used to go to yoga. Yoga Tuesdays and Pilates on Thursdays. And I thought maybe that would help me find myself. The only thing it did was make me sore and horny. That's it. I don't know what to tell you. So if Belichick's going to find himself, maybe he needs, see the guy over his right shoulder there? Maybe he needs a little rub and tug with full release. Man can find himself in an Asian massage parlor. Ask that guy. Ask Robert Kraft. But what is finding yourself? That's the most full of shit thing that there is. I'm going to find myself. Yeah, find this. How about you do this, Belichick? How about you come out and you say, all right, I do want a job, if you do. Here's what I'm willing to concede. Here's non-negotiables. That's it. Willing to concede, I will listen to a general manager. Willing to concede, I will allow others input. Non-negotiables, nobody's messing around with any part of my practice. Nobody's messing around with any part of my locker room, my part of the building, weight room. If it involves football, the preparation of football, nobody messes around unless asking me for permission. Period. Like, I don't need the assistant to the assistant, like the guy, the fat kid in Moneyball. I don't need him in the locker room. I don't need Costanza going from polyester to cotton all of a sudden. I don't need it. If I'm him, what I need is that. If I'm him, what I need is somebody understanding that, hey, look, you're bad at this. You were given a team, you got it. Once Brady left, man, did you get exposed. So shut up, get back on the coaching horse, and let somebody else buy the damn groceries. Here's a shocker for you. You ready? There was a joint George Kittle, Travis Kelce mashup. What do you kids call it? One of those guys on Awful Announcing call it. We're going to have a meetup. I want a meetup. We're going to have Kittle. We're going to have Kelce. We're going to get up in front of both fans. It's going to be marvelous. Yeah, well, Kelce probably made 50 grand. Kittle probably made 50 grand, so they'll talk to Penguins if they had to. What do they care? But guess what? Fans booed. Because they were 49er fans. Let me show you. Here it is. Take a look.
I'll tell you what, man. I leaned on my teammates more than I ever have, and it's been absolute. Y'all are firing me up, making me want to play right now, baby. I love the boos more than I love the cheers, baby. Keep them coming, Niners gang. Keep them coming. I'll tell you what, man, I rally around the guys around me, man. We've had a lot of ups and downs this year, and it's only made us stronger and that much more willing to fight for each other. And I'll tell you what, I love this group, and I want this one more than I ever wanted one in my life.
Yeah, you know, one of the things about NFL fans, and I think you know this, God dang, they travel. Like, they're stupid in their traveling. So I don't know, what was that, yesterday, Tuesday? When's the Super Bowl? Like 4 o'clock or 3 o'clock out west? And they're there, they're at a thing, and they're booing, and they're loud. Now, I get it, San Francisco, it's a short flight. You get there quick, okay. But son of a biscuit maker, they're already there booing Kelce. And who can blame them? I think it's going to be fun. I think it's going to be a fun Super Bowl. And you can make the argument, you can. Whoever has the bigger game at the tight end position, and it doesn't have to just be Kittle and it doesn't have to just be Kelce, is going to win the game. Going to talk to Elshon Jeffrey about this, but we're going to get into all the news with Armando as well. Man, I'm fired up for this Super Bowl, but I hate that it's the Super Bowl because I miss football already. I do. Hey, did you see this? I'm going to lift a cheek to Dartmouth University. The Dartmouth University basketball team. The Dartmouth University basketball team is 6-14 or 6-24 or 0 for a lifetime. They averaged last couple years less than 700 fans a game. But they're going to unionize. They want to unionize. They want to be considered employees. Let me tell you what I would do if I were the president of Dartmouth. Wait, I got my phone. Hello. Yeah, So the basketball team went in front of a judge, and now we're supposed to make them employees with full benefits, and now we're supposed to make them have a say in practice. All right, I'll tell you what we're going to do. I'm going to cancel basketball at Dartmouth. Would anybody care? Okay. Next trustee meeting, let's put that on the docket. Okay. Yep. Thank you. Bye-bye. It's exactly what I would do. Hey, you little basketballers at Dartmouth, take a hike. Here's the deal. Because Dartmouth has the right to control the work performed by Dartmouth basketball, and the players perform that work in exchange for compensation, I find that the petition for basketball players are employees within the meaning of National Labor Relations. That's National Labor Relations Board Regional Director Laura Sack. Really? It's a basketball team. It's a basketball team. You put a uniform on because Dartmouth can control it. Jesus. Just cancel Ivy League basketball. I tell you what, just cancel it. Why would anybody want to bother with this? Ivy League is legit, at least I felt like, in their disdain or their place of sports. The Ivy League will tell you, look, great, sports, yay rah, go sports. That's it. There's no real commitment. I mean, let's be honest. Harvard has the endowment the size of that lake out behind my house, but they don't spend it on anything. Their gym is mediocre. There's no NIL money. They're not giving Tommy Amaker, the football coach, the best of the best, and they could. What if you went into every top 100 player in the football world's house, said, look, we're going to get you into Dartmouth. Now, you got to be an actual thinking human being, okay? You can't be like some of these blocks of granite that end up in college football. Now we see them in the NFL and they can't speak, okay? I mean, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about you got to be at least a certain academic level. What if Dartmouth took their endowment or Yale or Harvard took their endowment and said, all right, we're going to pay each one of you guys $5 million to come here? And the fact that they don't tells me that, you know what, they don't care. Now, I know there's rules against doing it that way, but you get my point. It doesn't have to be from an endowment. It can be an organized deal with, well, some of the greatest, richest people alive went to where? These schools. But in lieu of that, you might as well just say, screw it. Look at this. Dartmouth players and team representative Cade Haskins and Romeo Myrtle say, our team is thrilled about the positive ruling from the NLRB Regional Board in Boston regarding our efforts to unionize. This is a significant step forward for college athletics, and we're excited to see how this decision will impact college sports nationwide. In light of this, we are proud to announce we will form an Ivy League Players Association for basketball players across the league. The association aims to foster unity, advocate for players' rights and well-being, and create a platform called collaborative decision-making. Yeah, I want some clown 18-year-old, 23-year-old making decisions for my university. Yeah, we want unity. Student-athletes' rights. You're a frickin' basketball player. I got to tell you, I'll be honest with you. If they presented this to me, if they said to me, hey, double dizzle, this is what we're going to do, and I was a player in Indiana, I'd be like, hey, I tell you guys what, particularly you guys that are my size and playing ahead of me, you go tell Coach Knight. You go tell the university president. You go sit in front. I ain't doing it. I got no interest. Maybe I'm not activist enough, but I understand it was a damn blessing to play basketball at Indiana. It was. It wasn't a labor. I wasn't an employee. I was a freaking basketball player doing what I loved at the place that I love, getting to practice, getting the facility. What was the student rights that I needed? And where in the hell does any freaking school have to provide students or student athletes with a warm, safe, nurturing environment? I got two words for you, my ass. Look, give me some books, give me some classes, give me 3 squares, give me a dorm, give me an apartment, give me a house, whatever the hell I'm living in, and let's have a great time in college and not cause any trouble. Why does some fat-ass university lesbian president have to provide me with some type of nurturing, wholesome, protective environment? I'm going to college, baby. I'm going to college. I'm going to have a great time. I ain't causing no problems. And get off my ass. I don't need the coach coming around to see how we're doing. How's your apartment? I don't need the faculty rep. I don't need student athletes' rights. You know what I need? Let's have a great time with my teammates. So these two little punks, Kate Haskins and Romeo Murtho, you're going to be out of here in a minute. And you're going to think you left this legacy. You didn't leave shit. You didn't leave nothing. Good, unionize. And if I'm the Ivy League, I'm like, all right, I'll tell you what, we're going back to club sports. Yeah? Going back to club sports. That's what we're doing. Club sports. See ya. I mean, I don't make money anyway. Nobody goes to the games anyway. Once in a while, Tommy Amaker and Yale, they've won, and last year, I guess, Princeton, they win an NCAA tournament game or two, but who cares? They don't need it for survival. It's not the front door to the university. I'd tell this little Romeo and this little Kate, hey, man, I got you unionized right here. Leave or stay, but we're going club. We're going clubbing. That's what we're going. We're going clubbing, and I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it today. I don't want to hear it tomorrow. I don't want to hear it the next day. That's what we're doing. Union this. I wish I cared. I gave pretty good speech for not really caring. Now I got to admit I did. Union. Hey, Dan, you want to join our union? Hey, I'll tell you this. I would grab my package, look at my guy, and go, you go tell Coach Knight. Good for you. You be an advocate. I'm going to get ready for practice. I love practice. I love playing. I love being in the locker room. I like sitting with Tim Garland in the training room. I like walking into the training room, getting those little cotton swabs, putting them in my ear, and ripping on people and getting ripped on. It is one of my favorite things to do. Average attendance, Dartmouth, 2022 to 2023. Wait for it. 693 people. Average attendance. Period. What? Union this. I like this. High school broadcaster was wrongfully accused by Oklahoma's largest newspaper. This is why newspapers, no, this isn't why newspapers suck. Newspapers suck because the people that write for newspapers are absolute horrendous human beings. I mean, there's nothing worse than a guy writing or a gal writing for a newspaper. But anyway, So an Oklahoma newspaper decides that they're going to call a student reporter racist. Oh, really? Oh, no kidding. Really? Why is he racist? The newspaper mistakenly ID'd a man. I'll read it to you. Scott Scapula was awarded Scapulapla $5 million in damages, $20 million in punitive damages because the Oklahoman said he was racist. A spokesman, of course it's Gannett, the same newspaper that owns the piece of shit Indy Star. We're happy for Scott. There was no evidence presented. Wait a second, hold on here a second. Here's what happened. It was during a Norman Midwest City girls basketball game. On live stream, the announcer cursed, used a racial epithet to describe one team as they knelt for the national anthem. The comment was made during the break. They even saluting the flag, some of them aren't. And then he dropped the bad N-word. There isn't really a good N-word except nice, I suppose, but anyway. So the newspaper said it was this guy Scapula. However, it was Matt Rowan. Well, no, it wasn't. Matt Rowan was the owner of the streaming service. Oh, he was the person. He apologized and blamed it on blood sugar levels. Sapulapa, allegedly, he said, I was defamed and intentionally inflicted with emotional distress. The jury, because this is what newspapers do, the jury found the newspaper acted with malice, which allowed them punitive damages. I should start doing that to the Indy Star. They're malice. Their writer threatened to slap me, hit me. We're never going to do it. It would be a bad move for him in a lot of different ways. Wanted to hit me in boxing or basketball. I got the receipts. Cares? He's a little twerp. But that's what newspapers do. They act in malice. It's pretty good to be able to sue and win against a newspaper. Let's be honest. Newspapers got millions of lawyers and people know that they're suing. But newspapers, you don't think they've hired for DEI? You don't think they've gone downhill? You don't think they're a little sloppier than they used to be with the journalistic integrity? Huh? Of course they are. Good for this guy. 25 mil. And he didn't say it. How about that? Huh. It is amazing. But you got to understand something. And I've said this forever, and it always comes out in the wash. Worst human beings I know are the two writers, and I don't know many bad human beings at the Indy Star, Dana and Greg. Now, you guys think they're great? Good for you. Horrible human beings. Awful. Just bad. Anyway, all right, let's continue on. I want to go back to something. I put a poll out earlier today. Let me ask you a question. Let me ask you. If I were to say to you, hey, Roger Goodell would rather have a great Super Bowl or get a really good diversity score, which do you think Goodell would rather care about? There's no question. I put a poll out, a couple hundred vote, diversity score 77, great Super Bowl 23. Great Super Bowl, it don't even matter. The ads are sold, people talking about it, it don't matter. The bad diversity score, though, oh my God, that would make him cry. Or laugh, one of the two. Hey, last night, great night in college basketball. The Indiana Hoosiers, and look, I said it yesterday on my show, I wasn't rooting for them. I started rooting for them because a kid named Trey Galloway decided not to be a pretty boy, little bar hopper guy, and decided to be the basketball player that he should be. And with about 15 minutes to go, Indiana found itself down 18 against Ohio State. And they stormed back. They did. And Galloway and this other kid, slightly used player, because Mike Woodson, the coach, doesn't know his ass from third base, named Anthony Leal, they came back, hit a three, won the game. I feel terrible for my friend Chris Holtman. Terrible. Yeah, he's got a problem. He's the head coach at Ohio State. I don't like it. I hate it. But you know, the real story in college basketball continues to be our friend Lamont Paris at South Carolina. I had a nice chat the other day with Chris Beard at Mississippi. He called me the other night to talk about some basketball stuff, and we're sitting there, and I go, hey, man, what's going on in South Carolina? I didn't realize they played. He goes, we play them tomorrow. I go, what's the deal? He goes, Dan, it's just one of those teams. They're 20-3. Just one of those teams that likes each other, plays hard and keeps it spread and makes a ton of shots. He ain't wrong. Clemson has 2 wins ever in the Dean Dome. And it's the last 2 times they went to the Dean Dome. Good for Brad Brunell. I like Brad Brunell. Clemson, every single time, this is the 2nd week in a row, every time I make a move and say North Carolina is really good, you know what they do? They get that ass beat. They do. Last week it was against Georgia Tech on Wednesday, right after I'd put them 3rd, after Purdue and after UConn. And then this week, after I put them 3rd, after Purdue and after UConn, they get beat at home by an unranked Clemson, and they were getting beat all day. Here's the deal on college basketball. I did bet this game, and I did take Clemson. Why? Tell you why. Because North Carolina, Armando Bacot is really an immature guy. You can see it. And Armando Bacot and his teammates couldn't handle beating Duke. They beat Duke on Saturday. And I'm like, yeah, I forget what points I got, 6 or 8 or something like that, because the bookies knew, the gambling sites knew what I knew. I didn't know anything special, but I could tell. So I took them. I'll tell you the other game I took, UConn and Butler. Butler getting 15.5 was a walk in the park. My toes were tapping. In fact, I made so much yesterday on Butler 15.5 that I actually took money out of my account and put it back in to my checking account. I made a withdrawal. I never make withdrawals. I'm usually right there. I made a big withdrawal. Now, I'm taking my wife out for a little bit of this and a little bit of that. That's right. That's right, Nick, Brooke, Dylan, Nick too. You can't even see the hips moving. Our toes are tapping. Yeah, they are. But anyway, Clemson goes in, makes 11 threes, and beats them. Cormac Ryan, 1 for 10. You know, every night, college basketball delivers something pretty good. Every single night, it does. Texas couldn't wait. Couldn't wait. We got to get rid. We got to get rid of Shaka Smart. Chris Beard has a problem. Chris Beard, we got to get rid of Chris Beard. We hire Rodney Terry, the player's choice. Nice guy. I do like Rodney Terry. But let's be honest, they're 15-8, they're 4-6, and Iowa State, who should never beat Texas in any stinking sport, beat Texas in a stinking sport. My boy, Steve Alford, last night beat number 22, Utah State. I'm telling you, college basketball delivers every stinking night. And I, ladies and gentlemen, am on fire betting it. Thad Matta's done a great job. Hey, Mike Woodson, I'll give you your props. You set up a nice play. You kicked it in the corner. Anthony Leal, you drilled it. I like it. I am with you, Indiana. Win or tie.